Emmanuel Macron criticized as France pushes to include nuclear power into the EU's energy transition.
Protesters were involved in scuffles with police in Amsterdam on Sunday as thousands of people took part in anti-COVID demonstrations in the Dutch capital. The city's mayor, Femke Halsema, issued an emergency decree at 1 p.m. on Sunday prohibiting a rally in Museum Square. Given the required social distancing of 1.5 metres, authorities calculated that would allow for a crowd of up to 3,500 people. But the mayor considered that many more than that would turn up, and it would therefore have been impossible to comply with the restriction, and so she went ahead and issued the short-term decree. But another demonstration in the Westerpark district had been approved for a crowd of up to 2,000 people. Officials said by early afternoon that threshold was reached. Due to a strike, the Amsterdam police didn't have its usual mobile intervention force at its disposal. The special unit has been complaining of a high workload and lack of personnel, and announced it would only be on hand in the event of serious rioting. As it turned out, the rallies were largely peaceful. Many sectors of the Netherlands' economy and public life are currently lying idle due to the pandemic, including cultural and sports facilities and stores that don't sell food or everyday goods. Many people in Europe are heading outdoors as unseasonably high temperatures bring an optimistic start to the new year.
France's presidency of the European Council has got off to a controversial beginning with news that the EU Commission is planning to include nuclear power in its energy transition program. The draft proposal is a long-term policy goal of Emmanuel Macron and would pave the way for member states to obtain EU funding for nuclear energy programs. In a statement, the Commission said, taking account of scientific advice and current technological progress, as well as varying transition challenges across member states, the Commission considers there's a role for natural gas and nuclear as a means to facilitate the transition towards a predominantly renewable-based future. Although carbon neutral, the inclusion of nuclear along with gas in the Commission's energy mix has been strongly criticized by environmental groups, who argue it would leave a dangerous legacy for future generations. The Commission's taxonomy is a license to greenwash, Greenpeace said in a statement. Polluting companies will be delighted to have the EU seal of approval to attract cash and keep wrecking the planet by burning fossil gas and producing radioactive waste. Germany has long been an opponent of including nuclear power in Europe's energy transition. Only this week it closed 3 nuclear reactors, aiming to end all nuclear power generation by the end of this year. The newly appointed environmental minister described the Commission's position as a total mistake. A major fire broke out at South Africa's Parliament in Cape Town, threatening the National Assembly building and sending a thick column of smoke into the sky on Sunday. The fire is believed to have started in an office in one of the older buildings in the precinct, before spreading to other sections of the complex, according to authorities.
The roof of the building has collapsed on the one side, and the fire has spread to the new assembly. According to the officers, they've detected large cracks in the wall, which is of concern.
Firefighters have struggled to bring down the flames and fear the fire could spread swiftly through old rooms, which are decorated with thick carpets and curtains. The area around the fire in the upmarket neighborhood was quickly cordoned off by emergency services. The nearby Cape Town Cathedral, where Archbishop Desmond Tutu was buried just hours before, sits meters away from the security cordon, but not in danger of catching fire.
Protesters were involved in scuffles with police in Amsterdam on Sunday as thousands of people took part in anti-COVID demonstrations in the Dutch capital. The city's mayor, Femke Halsema, issued an emergency decree at 1 p.m. on Sunday prohibiting a rally in Museum Square. Given the required social distancing of 1.5 metres, authorities calculated that would allow for a crowd of up to 3,500 people. But the mayor considered that many more than that would turn up, and it would therefore have been impossible to comply with the restriction, and so she went ahead and issued the short-term decree. but another demonstration in the Westerpark district had been approved for a crowd of up to 2,000 people. Officials said by early afternoon that threshold was reached. Due to a strike, the Amsterdam police didn't have its usual mobile intervention force at its disposal. The special unit has been complaining of a high workload and lack of personnel, and announced it would only be on hand in the event of serious rioting. As it turned out, the rallies were largely peaceful. Many sectors of the Netherlands' economy and public life are currently lying idle due to the pandemic, including cultural and sports facilities and stores that don't sell food or everyday goods. At least 5 people died and over 20 were injured in a bus accident south of the Russian capital Moscow early on Sunday morning. It happened near the village of Vozlebovo in the Ryazan region, 270 kilometres south of Moscow. 49 passengers were on board. Traffic inspectors said the coach could have crashed into a pillar by a railroad bridge. We may be technically in winter, but many people in Europe are taking advantage of unusually mild weather. Outdoor terraces are in full swing, and not just because of COVID. New Year's Day beach visits are a tradition in Sicily, but swimmers usually wait until at least the spring before taking the plunge. We needed to wash away some ugly thing, and we did it, literally. You have to do something crazy, especially with your family. In France too, people in Paris have been taking advantage of the exceptionally warm weather to avoid indoor spaces and get some sunshine. Today the weather's nice, it's the first day of the year. We've got nice sun, a beautiful view, and we have the Seine. We can enjoy it. It's a bit like escaping Paris for a while. And some people have been escaping the city. At Arcachon in Gironde in the southwest, the beach was busy on the first day of the year as temperatures hit 19 degrees Celsius, a good start to 2022.
The current extremely mild weather with spring-like temperatures is having an unwelcome side effect on nature. Honeybees are waking up from hibernation far too early and is starting to swarm out before there's any pollen to collect. Belgian beekeepers warn of a dangerous cycle that could further harm bees already severely threatened by pesticides and climate change. The bees believe that spring is here. The queen will start laying eggs again. The colony will grow and then a cold period comes back. So the colony will tighten up again and might not have enough bees to heat up all the brood that has been laid. So it may abandon some of the brood which may die. The idea would be to have a good cold period for 2 to 3 months. The warmness followed by cold destroys the colonies. Another problem is the honey supply. A look inside the hives shows their unusual behavior. Matteo de Costa says they should be clumped together this time of the year. When their food reserves run out, they just die. They are not autonomous. Many people think they live wild and free in nature, but they are domesticated. That really makes a difference. Beekeepers warn that non-seasonal temperature fluctuations could upset the fine-tuned bee colonies in the long run, with dramatic effects on pollination of crops and wild plants.
People in the ancient Japanese capital of Kyoto are taking part in an annual calligraphy event at a Shinto shrine. The Kitano Tenmangu Shrine is dedicated to the 9th century scholar and politician Sugawara no Michizane. He's known in Japan as the god of academics and also praised as one of the best masters of calligraphy. A junior high school student taking part in the event chose to write the word gokaku, which in Japanese means pass or success. I have to take a high school entrance exam this year. I wrote this with a strong determination to pass. Other visitors to the shrine wrote words such as Tora, which is Japanese for tiger, the Asian zodiac symbol for this year. Kitano Tenmangu Shrine has a history going back over 1,000 years. The event started on Sunday and will go on through Tuesday.